On February 26th, tons of headlines suddenly popped up about this new AI called OpenClaw. I made an OpenClaw AI agent to do my job for me. I was into my OpenClaw right up until it went rogue. It's amazing. It's scary. It's OpenClaw. A security crisis is happening right now. People are spouting a lot of nonsense about OpenClaw. Let's make it clear in this video. I'm not going to show you how to install OpenClaw. Actually, I'm gonna tell most of you not to install it, but you should still know what it is, what it isn't, and why people are talking about it. Since even if you never installed OpenClaw, you're still going to encounter things like it showing up in your life and your work very soon. So OpenClaw is a way to get an AI assistant. Okay, you might think that sounds good. What does that actually mean? So you install OpenClaw first on your own device, your own computer. Or let's say you put it on a computer you own, but probably not your main one. It keeps running in the background. And the first thing it does is, and hang with me, is it lets you take the chat apps you already use, whether that's WhatsApp or Telegram or Slack or iMessage or Discord, and link that chat app to an AI model like OpenAI's GPT or Anthropic Claude or any of the other LLMs. Right now, you might be asking, is OpenClaw just a tool that connects your current chat app to an aimed existing AI model? And fundamentally, yes, that is exactly what it does. It's known as the gateway, but it turns out that, yeah, that's a big deal, since it begins to open up a lot of possibilities. However, a couple of points are worth noting about this OpenClaw. By itself is not an AI. It's kind of plumbing, how we come by few in the copy. It's a way to link up the other services and tools we've got, not just a chat app and an AI LLM, but also your email, your calendar, your files, and a whole bunch of other things. So OpenClaw uses AI. It needs an AI to function because without it has no brain. But on its own, it's not AI yet. This originally began as a personal project by a developer named Peter Steinberger, who some then put the code up for download on GitHub, and he initially named it ClaudeBot. But Anthropic, who created Claude, weren't happy about this increasingly popular project that sounded like Claude. So they told him to rename it. It was first briefly called MAldBot and then OpenClaimHell. Now, you might sometimes hear those older names like ClawEdBot or MAldBot. They're all the same thing. I won't bring up the old names anymore. I'll just refer to it as OpenClaws going forward. It's an open source project so people can view the code and contribute to it. It's free to download and install. It works on macOS, Windows, or Linux. If you're the techie type, you can run it on anything from an old Android phone to a Raspberry Pi. And when you first install it, you go through a setup procedure where you connect it to your messaging app of choice and also pick the LLM you want, since it can't really do much until you do that. And when you're setting it up, you also assign it a name. Mine's called Cav Endish, because that sounded like a dignified name for a dignified assistant. But right now, after that first install and setting up the basic behavior is going to look very much like using an AI chatbot, since at the start, it only has access to the information you give during conversations. It can't get into your email, your calendar, or your files, or any other data unless you explicitly allow it to do so or connect to those tools. But that's usually the next move you'd make, which is picking what to grant OpenClaw access to. And this is where we run into the main problem people have with this bet, because it needs access to those external services and tools to actually be helpful. But when you let it access those things, you're exposing yourself to risk, because if I connect it to my email and then I tell my AI assistant, hey, clean up my inbox. Well, what does that mean? After all, a very simple way to clear out my inbox would just go ahead and delete it all right now. You should know there are methods to handle some of the risk, since you can apply very specific permissions, like letting OpenClaw write new emails without the power to send them, or to not have the power to permanently erase anything. Or you could let OpenClaw access just certain files located in a particular shared folder. Yet a major hurdle with any AI agent is that they need to actually be useful. If you need permission to act on your own, but if they do go it alone, it might not be what you expected. But aside from linking them up to data sources like your email or your calendar, your files also include an increasing number of OpenClaw skills you can use to add extra functionality to your new AI assistant. You can check out ClawHub, a website packed with OpenClaw skills that already counts 15 at the time I'm recording this. You'll find thousands of skills, including business-oriented ones like connecting to Hello boards or to linking with Salesforce, smart home features like managing your Sonar speakers, and new stuff is added daily. And you can just talk to your OpenClaw assistant and have it go find this skill and install it. And if it can't find one that does exactly what you need, you could even ask it to create that skill and code itself. Because one of the core ideas with OpenClaw is that it starts to evolve a bit. It keeps memory locally on your device and keeps learning from your chats. It picks up new skills. The more you use it, the more useful it becomes. But the fact that it can download new skills from the internet is another thing that makes security folks really jittery. Because that's another attack vector where maybe something malicious could have slipped into that new skill. Or maybe something in the code that could cause weird behavior or leak data. So if you're sitting there thinking Simon still sounds kind of cool, should you install OpenClaw? If you're even asking, my guess is probably no, but feel free to prove me wrong. So right now, the install and setup isn't user-friendly. You should feel at home using the terminal window and handling stuff like API tokens. Also, don't put it on your main machine or your work machine. Sure, I'm running mine on an old laptop I wasn't using. And famously, a ton of folks are grabbing Mac Minis as dedicated setups to run OpenClaw on. And be super careful about what you link it to and how much access you grant it. But what I think is actually more important than installing it is just thinking about what you might do with it first. It's basically this cliche where folks say, all right, I've installed and configured OpenClaw, so what now? And even if you don't install it, spend some time thinking about how you might use it, browse skills on ClawHub. Because someone might say, sure, I know exactly what I'd like to use an AI assistant for. I'm just not comfortable installing and setting it up yet. That person is in a better spot than a dev who'd go, oh yeah, I could have it ready in 10 minutes. I literally can't come up with a single thing I'd want an AI assistant to do. So should you know about OpenClaw? Said the posted. Oh hell yes, absolutely, since even before OpenClaw showed up, we were already noticing this kind of functionality starting to show up from the major AI vendors' chatbots that can run scheduled tasks for you, AI that can access your files, and tools like Claude Kawek. You can work right on your own device. OpenClaw is just the start. There will be more stuff like this coming very soon. And the skill that's worth developing right now, whether even if you don't use OpenClaw, it can still help you spot tasks in your daily routine that you can hand off. Switch to an AI assistant and clearly state what you want it to do. That's the skill you can start practicing.